And Mike Woodley, how much fun was that on Friday night? Fireworks going off and all. Yeah, that was something to remember.
Denny Crine and Brett Helmer hitting bombs. Congratulations again to Denny Crine, the individual champion.
All right, we have a team champion that we need to crown here tonight, the 2013 ASA Super National Champion. We'll get you set for the finals after this quick timeout from Midway Stadium here on CBS Sports Network.
You don't have to know a thing or the right words to sing, 'cause all you gotta do is stay here for a while and be you.
The white sands, warm waters, and unmistakable fun of Panama City Beach are waiting. So plan your trip to the real fun beach today at visitpanamacitybeach.com.
It's time to relax and get real.
The 2014 DeMarini Flipper Aftermath is your ticket to ride for high-level ASA play. Locked and loaded with DeMarini's new and improved divergence technology, the massive sweet spot on the Aftermath is extended horizontally around the barrel, making this the bat of choice for any serious ASA league and tournament players. Join players like DeMarini long haul bombers Chris Larson, Donovan Pekraka, and Dale Brungaard and take total control of your game. DeMarini, insane dedication to performance. New this season, the Miken KF30 Kevin Philby Supermax 100% composite and Miken's HPI epoxy produces a game-changing level of performance. Check out Miken's Denny Crine DC41 Supermax hyperbolic barrel flex technology, delivering a 20% bigger sweet spot. Both bats are engineered utilizing 100% premium aerospace-grade fiber to deliver Miken's legendary performance and durability. Miken, made in the USA.
I grew up on a farm in a small town upstate New York, and I got started in slow pitch. I was still in high school, believe it or not. I could hit a softball over 300 feet, so it was just kind of one of those things where I just had that natural power when I was 15 years old. I don't have to have the hottest performing bat. I have to be comfortable when I'm in the box. It is really about what's going to give you the best chance for success. We have something for everybody. Honestly, just come out and swing them. The response to our whole line for this year has been tremendous. They're legit, absolutely awesome.
ASA Softball, the national governing body of softball in the United States. Follow us at asasoftball.com or on Facebook or Twitter. It's time to get out and play ASA.
Long Haul Trucking, an industry leader in on-time delivery and safety. Long Haul is looking for quality drivers ready for a high-paying, stable career. Long Haul quite simply has the coolest trucks on the road, featuring the revolutionary retractable tarping system. Every load is delivered on time and damage-free. If you're a dependable driver, ready to go the extra mile for our valued customer, log on now, longhaultrucking.com. Long Haul Trucking, running on the power of promises kept.
The first semifinal from the ASA Super National featured 7 home runs from Hortenbach, Easton, including 2 apiece from Scott Kirby and Chad Durick. The second semifinal, a walk-off home run by Westy Giel. It's Sonny's and Hortenbach for the championship next on CBS Sports Network. CBS Sports Network is happy to bring you to St. Paul's Midway Stadium for the final of the ASA Super National. Hortenbach, Otto Easton taking on Sonny's for the title here in St. Paul. And welcome back inside Midway Stadium, everybody. Dave Betts and Mike Woodley, happy to be bringing you the call here tonight. And Mike, as you take a look at these two teams and how they got here, Hortenbach hasn't lost a game yet in this tournament. Meantime, Sonny's had to come back through the losers bracket after losing the first national semi to Hortenbach.
And they are just a scrappy team. They've been doing it every which way. Now they're starting to hit the long ball. This is going to be an interesting game tonight because there's so much on the line. And Hortenbach Easton is not a cakewalk because Sonny's has showed they can battle with anybody.
And you were with us for the national semifinals. You saw the rules. You may be familiar with them already if you play softball at your local field. However, there are a couple of tweaks for this tournament that are specific to this championship. And more on that, let's get you down to the third member of our broadcast crew, Natalie Nyheis.
Dave, Mike, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Down here on field right now, almost time for the finals, but let's reiterate some of those rules for you. So we do start, and by the way, these rules are meant to keep the game of softball moving quickly. We start with a 1-and-1 count. There's a 16 home run limit. Number 17 counts as an out. Foul ball with 2 strikes is an out. Also, the distances are shorter. Pitching distance, 50 feet. Base distance, 75 feet. And folks, there is a mercy rule here. Run ahead rule is about 20 runs after 4 and 15 after 5. Guys?
All right, Natalie, thank you very much, and we'll see whether or not this final has the excitement of that national semifinal that featured the walk-off home run. Let's take a look at the bracket and see how these teams got here. I alluded to it. Mike Hortenbach has yet to lose a game, and Sonny's has had to play comeback after losing in that first national semi.
And Sonny's actually out-hit Hortenbach out of Easton in the first matchup together in the semifinals, but they did lose by a couple of runs. So they can hit with them. Let's just see if they can score more.
By the way, the final in that game against Rip City for Sonny's was 20-18. They were down by 6 with 2 outs still remaining in the 7th inning. Let's get to the key players in this game. Let's begin with Sonny's. He's a big guy. He's capable of lighting it up. Chris Greinert.
He's 6'6". He's nearly 300 pounds. Look at how big Chris Greinert is, and he can hit home runs. He found his rhythm in the last game when he struggled a little bit in the first semifinal. So now we might see Chris Greinert be the guy that we saw on the Stadium Power Tour hitting long home runs.
You think 4 for 5 with 2 home runs, 4 ribbies, and 3 runs is finding your groove?
Yeah, well,
he may have found his groove.
I think so.
Let's get to Brian Wegman, who's the key player we're looking at for Hortenbach, because he was very quiet in that first national semi, just 1 for 2, a couple of walks. He was a little too quiet.
But you should know he is the leader of this team. Make no doubt about it. He's the defensive leader in left field. He makes plays. He's a vocal leader. They all look up to him. And Wegman has the ability to dominate offensively. We'll see if the home run bat comes alive with Wegman tonight.
These two teams combined for 42 runs in the first national semifinal. Will the offensive explosion continue in the championship game? Find out next, as we'll bring you back to St. Paul for the opening pitch and the starting lineups after this quick timeout here on CBS Sports Network.
ASA Super National, presented by Long Haul Trucking on CBS Sports Network, is being brought to you by Easton Sports. There is a difference, and the difference is Easton. By Miken Sports, elite equipment for the elite player. Miken Sports. And by DeMarini. Upgrade your game with the DeMarini Stadium CL22 and Flipper Aftermath.
And welcome back to St. Paul. We have a beautiful night for softball here at Midway Stadium, although it is awfully warm, 89 degrees, and I know the humidity says 53%, Mike Woodley, but it feels much more humid than that. And that wind is going to be a factor. It is awfully strong going out there to left field.
It is blowing out to left field, so the right-handed batters are smiling. The left-handed batters are getting creative and grimacing as we look at the starting lineup for Sonny's, playing their 3rd game in 1 day.
They'll go Davis, Ballard, Greinert, Oliveira, Giel, Bean, Ramirez, Peso, Christensen, and then Aaron Martinez, the middle infielder, will bat 10th. And again, teams have the option of batting 10 or 11. They can use an extra hitter or a designated hitter, if you will, but they opt not to do that. At least Sonny's opts not to do it. As for the defense for Hortenbach, Otto, Easton, it's Wegman, Durek, and Rainwater in the outfield. Lopez, Reyna, Baker, Kirby in the infield. Buck and Philby are the battery. And you also have a middle infield out there. Kevin Bazat is the middle infielder. You don't see him on your screen, but he will be out there playing right behind second base. Bazat known for his defense. And Hortenbach Otto has had a decisive advantage, Mike. They've spent the last several hours just resting after they played that semifinal matchup this morning. It started at 11 a.m. here in St. Paul, Minnesota. They went back to the hotel. They had a team meal. They enjoyed some air conditioning. Meantime, Sonny's has been here all day. This is their 3rd consecutive game. Could that be a factor?
It sure could be a factor, but they're also warmed up and they're excited. They've had an exciting day as Gino Buck delivers.
And Jeremy Davis going the opposite way on the first pitch he sees, slices it into the right field corner. He's off and running, and he will pull up and hold at second base, and actually he's going to come back to the plate. They're saying foul ball, a late call there.
Looked like it might have kicked up chalk. We'll get a chance to look at it again. Gino Buck, of course, if you see him wearing the mask, it's for good reason. He's 50 feet away from these powerful bats. And that's a measure of safety that the elite players of softball started doing. Let's again take a good look at this one. Pretty close.
So foul ball, and the umpire right on it on the line, and so Jeremy Davis now will be in the hole, 1-2. Again, they start the count at 1-1. Davis again goes to the right side, and the foot comes off the bag at first base by Scott Kirby, and that is going to be an error, and it will allow Jeremy Davis to start the game on first base.
As Baker makes the throw, causes Kirby to have to step off ever so slightly, and that's a base runner. And maybe a little bit of redemption after that call. Now Baker makes a nice play. Just a little high and off, and that's a good call.
That'll be the error there on Bryson Baker, not the way that Hortenbach Easton wanted to start this game.
Gino Buck again wearing that face mask. Talked about it a little bit earlier with us. It's a safety measure, and for good reason. Again, these guys can pop.
So Kevin Ballard up at the plate now, and Kevin Ballard has been fairly impressive today because of the fact that he's hit some key clutch hits, including had a big pinch hit single in that second semifinal game in the bottom of the 7th inning. The numbers wouldn't show it, but that pinch hit single kept the game going with 2 outs, and that was big. He flies out here, though.
Mentioned it's 50 feet from the pitcher to home plate in this tournament. 75 feet the bases from. Of course, make it a little bit different from what you might be seeing if you're new to watching men's slow pitch softball at this elite level. The fences, though, they're 320 down the lines, 400 to deep center, and these guys will be seeing the fences a few times, including quite possibly this guy who had 2 home runs in his last game.
Yeah, Chris Greiner, an absolute tear last game, as we talked about at the top. 4 for 5 with a couple of home runs, and I think he's got another home run, Mike Woodley. That thing ain't coming back. Over the Taco Bell party box out there in left field. A monster shot again by Greiner. And it is an early 2-0 lead here as Sonny's jumps out on top, and that's been something that's been unfamiliar territory to them. They haven't had the lead very often in these games. In fact, they only had the lead aside from the walk-off at the end of the game against Rip City. They only had a brief lead in the 3rd inning, and that was it. And they didn't lead against Hortenbach Auto in the first semifinal at all.
No, they didn't. In fact, they were trailing 7-0 early and battled back. And this was the guy that got them back into their game with Hortenbach Auto earlier, Oliveira, who has had 2 home runs in that initial contest. And this is a guy that can go deep, so they got the back-to-back going right now for Oliveira, and here is Bryce.
Bryce Oliveira on the day has 3 hits. They've all been home runs. And that trend continues as that's just a long fly out to left field.
Now comes the hero of the earlier game. And boy, he called it, and it's great to see Westy. He said, "Let's go" after he hit it, and it was just a monster shot, and capped off a big comeback in the 7th inning. 7 runs in the walk-off home run. You don't get much more dramatic than that.
There you see the numbers for Westy. You don't expect him to be a guy that's going to deliver a lot of power based upon his size relative to the other players, but boy, he can deliver a couple of home runs today, but none bigger than this one in the bottom of the 7th against Rip City.
Let's go, boys!
He's an unsuspecting home run hero. You got guys like Greiner, you got Oliveira, you got guys like that, and then Gill became the big hero of that big victory. What a way to win.
Said he got punched in the chest by his third base coach as he was coming around after hitting the home run.
That's Sonny Pilcher, this manager, that gave him the shot in the chest, but he learned to shake it off, and now he'll go down to first base on the base on balls.
So if you thought maybe playing their 3rd game today in this hot, humid St. Paul air might have an effect on Sonny's, well, no effect so far. They get off to a very nice start, although that is going to close out the top half of the inning. So Sonny's will leave one stranded, but they do bring in a couple of runs on the big base knock by Chris Greiner, a 2-run blast, and we'll go to the bottom of the 1st with Sonny's up 2-0. Time constraints, we pick up the action in the 2nd inning. Big bottom of the 1st there by Hortenbach Auto. They put up 8 runs, despite the fact Brett Helmer actually struck out. He's standing by right now with our own Natalie Nice.
Guys, thank you so much. Down on the field, you are correct with Brett Helmer. You know, a lot of people who play softball, one of the main reasons they play is the camaraderie. I got to say, watching in the dugout, you've got secret handshakes, all sorts of stuff going on. Tell me about the camaraderie.
It really is. You know what? Especially for somebody like me who's played for so long, 20-plus years doing this at this level, for me, hanging out with the guys, enjoying my time, with them is as much fun as anything. And then when you position yourself on a day like today with a chance to win a national title, all that much better. So yeah, what goes on in the dugout plays a big deal of what happens out in the field. So we got a great group of guys. We get along well. Good young players and some veterans. Works out well.
Clearly, if what goes on in the dugout is a reflection of what's happening on the field, that's why you're in the championship.
100% right. We just kind of take a workman's approach but have a great time with it, and so far it's been pretty successful.
Due to time constraints, we move ahead in the action. And looking for another one possibly here. Here's what happened in his first at-bat. A monster shot, two-run style to get the scoring started for Sonny's.
Well, the train's waiting. Let's see if Chris can have ball connect with bat, connect with train.
Yeah, so we can have a better idea of whether or not his last one was as good as Chris Larson's that went over the train. Although in fairness, these box cars are a little taller than the car that Larson put it over.
And one of those oil tankers, I think. I measured about 12 feet, I think, off the ground.
And Greinert lays into one. It's not going to leave the yard. It's off the fence, but it is trouble. That's going to bring in at least one, possibly two. And coming into third base is going to be Greinert, and he's going to get in there easily. Stand-up triple for Chris Greinert to bring in two more runs. And Greinert already with 4 driven in this game.
That's what we're talking about. This is a team that seems to spark when somebody can come up with a big hit. And Greinert, didn't hit the home run, but line shot off the fence. You see the carom.
And Brian Wegman, really not much he could do.
Oh. And now here's a guy who's had very great success at the plate too with long ball, and the train's still out there, Oliveira.
Oliveira, 3 home runs. Those only hits in this on this day have been home runs, and he continues that trend now.
Shy of the train tracks, but over the fence for a big home run.
A 2-run shot. If you like offense, this is the game for you folks. How about Sonny's and Hortenbach just going toe-to-toe and matching blow for blow?
A little worried about Oliveira and the rest of the guys maybe feeling the wear and tear or the fatigue of playing in 2 previous games, but they're looking good. I mean, they're warmed up. They certainly are. There's no reason to feel like they're stale at all. If they can keep the bats rolling, they're going to stay right with this team.
And you know what? There are no more games in this tournament after tonight. So you've got the rest of the weekend to rest. Leave it all on the line. Westy Giel, he sends one out there into the gap. That's going to get down for extra bases. Giel goes into second, and he will hold up there after the double. So Hortenbach Auto may have the big names on the team, but Sonny's has a team that knows how to get some hits, get timely hits, and a little bit of power.
Well, we've seen them. They play small ball. When the wind was blowing, it's blowing pretty across the field right now, really from right into left field. But they've been able to position the ball and put it in the key places to get hits.
And Daniel Bean trying to do just that. He tries to go opposite field, just foul. That would have been extra bases. Bean kind of shrugging his shoulders, thought that should have been a fair ball. Awfully close, but he'll have to go back to the batter's box, now facing a 1-2 count.
It was very close. That's maybe just a couple inches on the side of the chalk. Didn't see any chalk kicking up. Still a nice shot by Bean. Another one of those keeps it fair, and he's going to keep the bases moving.
So all knotted up at 8 apiece here, with 6 already in the top of the second for Sonny's. Bean will take that one for a ball, so even the count at 2-2. That one well short. Alexis Ramirez will be next if Bean's able to get on. Pops this one out to right field, and under it is Brian Rainwater, and that will end the inning. But a successful half inning for Sonny's. They come up with 6 big runs and tie it back up here in St. Paul. Due to time constraints, we pick up the action in the 3rd inning.
Thank you very much. I'm here with Chris. I want to talk a little bit. You're a long haul bomber. So you hit these big, long home runs, 500 feet plus. How important is the grip on the bat to hitting?
It's all what makes you comfortable. Sure. So
what do you do with your grip?
I put a knob cuff on mine. Makes a barrel a little fatter, and it like bends a little bit so you can grip onto it, and I overlap my hand.
All right. All right. And last night I saw, or during the Long Haul Bomber Stadium Power Tour, a lot of people were spraying something on the bats. What was that all about?
Yeah, you put 3M spray on your handle and make it a little better grip on the bat.
Well, clearly that's made you very successful.
I guess.
You guess? You're hitting home runs, man, 500 feet plus.
Yeah, it's fun.
It is fun. All right. Well, thank you so much. We'll see you bat next time around, and good luck to you today.
Thank you.
Guys, back to you.
All right, thank you, Natalie. You get the feeling like Chris just wants to hit softballs.
Yeah.
He doesn't really want to talk about it all that much.
Yeah, but you know that's what makes him who he is his personality, and he's great on it. The people love him because he's no nonsense. He shows up, he works out that way, he plays ball that way, lives his life that way, and you can't argue with his numbers. I mean, look at the guy, 6'6", nearly 300 pounds. You imagine that just about anything that he would have got into, he'd be successful. And how he's doing at this level, there's very few. Can you imagine coming home on a bang play, and you're going to try and run him over at home? Good luck.
Yeah, Grinder is a load, 6'6", 300 pounds. And, he says he talked about the cuff on the bat. He said he won't use a bat without a cuff. He likes to swing the Reebok Barrage. He is signed by Reebok. And he is absolutely a beast when it comes to hitting home runs, as you saw in that Stadium Power Tour finals that we showed you at the top of the broadcast. So the wind picking up, you can really see the dirt flying around here in St. Paul. In fact, between games, Mike, we were down on the field and went down to talk to some of the players. I got to be honest with you, I didn't stay down there as long as I had intended because the wind was flying in my eyes. It was tough to see. That's something that, especially these guys on the infield, are going to have to battle here the rest of this game.
Yes, and Wegman is a guy probably has seen every bit of condition that you could ever anticipate, so certainly nothing's going to surprise him. But, yeah, this is going to be something they're going to have to deal with. When it's at your back, though, it isn't bad when it's headed towards the left field wall.
Yeah, or over the left field wall is the case there. Another home run for Brian Wegman. We said he'd be a guy to look out for, his second round tripper of this game, and Easton goes up 14-8.
We knew he was going to come alive. He's such a leader. You talk to these guys about who they look up to, and so many of these guys are interviewed on magazines and blogs, and you see Wegman. His name is almost uniformly. It's if it's not the one, it's one of the names they mention because of the leadership that the guy brings, and he also gets it done in the field, making great defensive plays. And now 2 home runs tonight.
Kevin Philby, he tripled and then grounded into a fielder's choice in his 2 previous at-bats. And this time Philby trying to go the opposite way, and that's going to be foul, so moves the count to 2-2 here on Philby. Mentioned Philby, part of the U.S. national team, was part of the Futures team a year ago. And that's nice, too, that they not only name the national team, they also have a Futures team, so these guys can get a taste of what it's like to play for Team USA.
And they get to play for Team USA. Then the border battle is an area where they're able to get more international experience.
And expand the game internationally, which is big for the sport.
That's the other thing. The border battles meant a lot to a lot of these players, especially in the northern states.
And a solid knock there by Philby. And look at him run. The big fella going into second. It slides in for the double.
Proper technique on the slide, too. Now, these guys, they love playing the game. And they have an opportunity, some of these big guys, to get out there and maybe go for an extra base or make a big defensive play. Certainly their teammates love to see the bigger guys doing things that they normally think the little guys would only be doing.
How about these numbers for Philby? In 1,235 USSSA games, which that's a staggering number to begin with, 1,389 home runs, 1,123 RBI. The guy is just a beast. Kirby, meantime, comes up with another base knock. And he is now 2 for 3 on the night. Check that, he's actually 2 for 2 because sacrifice fly in the first inning with an RBI. So Kirby's having a nice night as well.
The Amateur Softball Association, the ASA, which this tournament is sanctioned by, headquarters in Oklahoma City. I encourage anybody, if you're into softball, you play the game, you love the game, you're part of it, go to that Hall of Fame and museum. The sights, the sounds, the old uniforms, the history, it's absolutely unbelievable.
Brett Helmer hits one into the wind, and that is going to be over the head out there of Westy Giel. And going to bring in a run. Helmer will hold up at first, to Kirby advancing over to third.
Single off the wall. It can happen really in any game, but these guys, it made sense because it advanced the runner. And Helmer being smart, too, rather than taking any chance at second, make sure that his teammate gets to third base.
Well, not only that, but with nobody out and the team hitting as well as it has been, why risk any injury trying to go in for an extra base?
Just out of the outstretched of the glove for Helmer, so he's able to get the big knock.
So Gino Buck, another chance to help his own cause. Already a home run and an RBI single in this game. And Buck thought maybe he was going to have ball 4. Instead, it's a strike. Buck hits it through the right side of the infield. Got a friendly bounce as it goes through, just past Bryce Oliveira's glove. And that's going to bring in another run. So another RBI, 3 trips to the plate and 3 ribbies for Gino Buck tonight.
And Oliveira about as sure-handed as anybody we've seen. Here's a look at it. Hard hit ball. Oliveira just couldn't quite put the mitt on it. It jumped up maybe at that wedge. It looked like it hit that crease where the turf becomes dirt. Tough play for Oliveira and good play for, of course, Easton as they continue to keep the bases going.
So Chad Durick now. He's 1 for 1 with a 3-run home run and a walk, which he later came around and scored on. Boy, this Hortenbach team, really, Mike. There's, as you mentioned, there's no holes in this lineup. I mean, there's Chad Durick sending another one 350 feet. Another 3-run home run. And that's by your number 7 hitter in your order.
But he's a power hitter on any other team. I mean, the order of batting and really in this late level isn't as important maybe in some others, at least in theory. But look at this. Durick, everything about him is perfect. Look at the swing, the transfer of power as he's able to come around in it, and it just clears the fence by a long shot. Hardware Hank made a stab at it, but just out of his outreach glove, and another home run as Easton starting to pull away a little bit from Sonny's right now with a 19-8 lead.
Durick, another one of those guys with minor league experience, was in the New York Mets organization for a while. He also coaches baseball in the offseason.
You can tell by the form and the technique. I mean, this is so much of that. You might think it's just brute strength. It's really so much more than that, and that was just evidence of that.
Sam Lopez and Westy Giel able to come in and make the sliding catch. So finally an out for Hortenbach Auto here in the 3rd inning.
Giel, nice right fielder, playing that very well, going down to get it. Yeah, he nearly made that snag on the Helmer shot out to right field earlier. Now he's able to make this one. Certainly you have to have talented outfielders at this level, and we're seeing some of the best, or certainly the best in the nation here tonight.
So 19-8 with Rainwater at the plate, and he sends it into the right field corner. That's going to be extra bases. Rainwater will pull up into second and stop there. A stand-up double for Rainwater. And had this been a close game, you get the feeling Rainwater might have been able to hustle to third, but obviously would have been a play there. So you've got a sizable lead. Why not pull into second?
This tournament is one that has not been around for a decade. In fact, this is a unique tournament. The Amateur Softball Association at this level with the Super Nationals, the best players on anywhere in the country can join in and get on a team and come here. We saw 8 of the best come here to St. Paul.
And Reyna, who homered in his last at bat, gave that one a ride. And look at the hustle here, coming in from second base and trying to tag 2 bases and throwing out his Rainwater. Got a little bit greedy. He tried to tag home all the way from second base. When's the last time you've seen that?
Yeah, but what a nice play. I mean, yeah, certainly it was a gutsy base path run, but perfect execution in the field.
Perfect relay, perfect throw to home. They get the out. We got a good one going here in St. Paul. The action in the 4th inning. Welcome back to the ASA Men's Super National Championship game here from St. Paul. Dave Benz, Mike Woodley along with you, 19-8 as we go to the 4th inning. And Mike, a good time to revisit some of the rules.
Yeah, a 1-1 count. If you play softball, that's not a surprise. If you're new to watching softball, it just moves the game along a little bit quicker. You start with a ball and a strike. 16 home run limit. That means you can get 16 home runs. If you hit a 17th home run as a team, it's an out. A foul ball with 2 strikes is an out. We've seen a couple of players deal with that. You know, Brett Helmer, one of them that had to deal with a foul ball out. That's frustrating, but that's the sport, keeps the game moving. 50 feet from the mound. Of course, so that's why we're seeing the pitchers wearing headgear. There could be some serious issues if you couldn't get out of the way, and 75 feet are the bases.
But perhaps the most important rule was that the footnote there on the bottom, the run rule. If you're leading by 20 or more after 4 innings, that's it. If you're leading by 15 or more after 5 innings, that's it. And right now, you got to think Hortenbach Auto's thinking maybe they got a chance to run rule this game. A nice defensive scoop out there by Reyna over at the shortstop position, but can't get the throw to first base in time. It'll be an infield single for Jeremy Davis.
Yeah, but still, look at the defense. That we mentioned Reyna is just fantastic. Let him get to this thing. Down on the ground, all the way up. Relays the ball a little bit short on the throw, but he had to come from the dirt to get up to make it, and Kirby just couldn't quite put the scoop out, but still great defensive play and a runner on base for our guys from Sonny's.
Yeah, Kevin Ballard, RBI single last time up, 1 for 2 in the game, flied out to right, his first plate appearance. And Ballard looks at a ball, so a 3-1 count here for Ballard. And he'll take ball 4. So this is what Sonny's needs to do. We've seen him play small ball in the previous 2 games in this tournament, Mike. They can hit home runs, but they really make their noise by playing small ball, getting guys on base and taking advantage of that.
Well, you wouldn't want this guy to play small ball unless he felt he needed to, and now here's a chance for Chris Greinert with 2 on to do what he does best, why he's on this team. And let's see if he can actually get it across and get that home run that they're looking for.
Well, Greinert gets it through the left side, and that is going to bring home a run. As coming all the way in from second base is Jeremy Davis on the RBI single by Greinert. And Greinert now has a home run, a triple, and a single, so he is just a double away from the cycle.
I don't know if the cycle is recognized as universally heralded in softball as it is in some other sports, but we'll have to keep tabs on that.
Hey, a cycle's a cycle. You know, especially for Greinert,
We'll
who probably doesn't get a whole lot of triples or doubles. He just gets a lot of home runs.
That's very true.
A bouncer to Reyna, chance to turn 2, and the relay is thrown away, and that's going to allow a run to come home as Ballard hustles home.
Trying to get the double play. Kirby couldn't get his glove on it, gets wild, and the run comes in. Here's another look at it. Oliveira just didn't get much on it. Routine play to short. They got Greinert, but the errant throw goes into the dugout and scores the run, bring him within 9 runs of the lead.
So the fielder's choice brings home the run. And that brings Westy Giel to the plate. Westy already a sliding catch in the outfield in this game. Had, of course, the big walk-off home run in the elimination game against Rip City earlier this afternoon. You saw that last night on CBS Sports Network. Gives this one a ride out to center field, but Chad Durick is right there to reel it in. Oliveira does tag up from first.
You know, now that we've seen both Greinert, Oliveira, and Giel go without home runs in situations when you wonder if fatigue is starting to get to them. This is their 3rd game. It's been hot. It's been windy. They've been playing with so much emotion, rallying back. I mean, you just hope that these guys can find the strength. As much as you fight it off, you just can't fight the fact that fatigue can start to get to you after a while.
Well, and these games have been long games, Mike. I mean, your normal ASA game, you're normally looking in the range of an hour, hour and 15 minutes, and these games have been more in the range of an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes. And you know, that extra time in this hot sun, it takes a toll on you.
And don't forget, Sonny's having to win a very difficult game in the quarterfinals just to get here into St. Paul.
Although Daniel Bean says not so fast. We've still got some life left in us, and the pitcher comes up with a big RBI base knock as Oliveira is able to come in all the way from second base and score. So Sonny's trying to scratch their way back into this one with 3 in here in the inning, and now down by just 8. And just 8, I do mean just 8, because in softball you can score in bunches.
We've seen it happen. I mean, it certainly can happen. When you got the best in the business here, it's going to happen occasionally.
Sonny scored 8 in the bottom of the 7th against Rip City to get here.
And that was not that 8 runs was very large, more than just a normal game that might go 35 to 28. This was a huge part of the total offense of Sonny's. They just came alive at the right time.
There you see Rob Humphrey, the manager for Hortenbach Auto, coming out and having a little conversation with Kevin Philby behind the plate. Alexis Ramirez, 0 for 1 with a walk in this game. Not sure what Humphrey told Philby, but Humphrey's had a very successful run here in this tournament with his team not losing a game, but Sonny's suddenly got some momentum going as Ramirez absolutely blasted that one. That just kept going over the SS pork chop out there in left field.
And Ramirez, again, not the guy you might expect to get the home run. They're getting the unsuspected heroes for this team from Sonny's, and that's one way they might be able to hang in here. You know, Martinez is slight of frame, less than 200 pounds, about 165 pounds, and he's able to go hit him like a 200-pounder.
3rd home run of the game for Sonny's. They've got 5 in here in the inning, in the top of the 4th.
They're not going away.
They definitely are not. Matt Pesso trying to go opposite field, and that is well foul. So he'll be in a hole here, 1 and 2.
Really like what we've seen from Sonny's. They never quit. They've battled back so often. As you mentioned, in their initial game, the semifinals here, down by 11-0 and battling back, and lost by a couple of runs, but a gallant effort to this very tough team from Hortenbach Auto.
Pesso back up the box. Buck, nothing he could do about it. Tried to get the glove down, but not in time, and Pesso has his first base hit of the game. And Sonny's continues to just small ball you and maybe get the occasional home run from the guy you're not expecting to hit the home run.
Just chipping away, playing, again, small ball, we keep saying it, but that's what they do. Sammy Christensen, again, 2 for 2, a double, a single, a run, just getting it done.
And they really needed this offense this inning too, Mike, because we talked about between innings saying, you know what, if Sonny's doesn't come up with some runs, this thing could be a run rule game. Instead, they're climbing their way back in it, and that'll end the top of the 4th inning on the force out. But a successful top of the 5th from Sonny's as they bring 5 runs in and climb back to within 6 here in St. Paul. As we get set for the bottom of the 4th here in St. Paul, let's get you back down to the field where Natalie has Gino Buck standing by. Natalie?
I do. Thank you. Gino, I want to ask you first before we talk about being a pitcher and what it takes. What happened there with Ramirez's at-bat? I heard you having some words with the umpire.
Well, he put his hand down and said, let's play. I threw a pitch. It was a strike. He said it was a no pitch, so we kind of, went back and forth a little bit on it. But
so what'd you do? How did it sort out?
It is what it is. He called a no pitch, and we just continue playing.
Gotta let it go. All right, as a pitcher, you're pretty close to home plate there, so you're wearing one of these. Tell me why you wear this.
Well, I wear it just for the safety. I don't need any face damage. I've seen plenty of my friends, other pitchers in the conference that have gotten hit in the face and some major damage. So, that kind of work, it's too much, and my family don't need it. I don't need it.
Sure. Have you ever had a close call?
Oh, yeah. I've had plenty of close calls. I've been hit in the shoulder a few times. I've been hit plenty of times. So, once I seen Dirty Sanchez get hit in the nose, and it was horrible, I started wearing this. So,
can you put it on? I just kind of want to see how it works. And this is an option, too, by the way.
Yes. It's actually a pretty nice helmet. It fits really nice. You can see really good out of it. It's nice and light, too, so it really doesn't affect a whole lot, so.
All right, Gino, thanks for the inside scoop there and being a pitcher. Appreciate it. Good luck to you. You guys are in it. All right, we're going to send it back up to you guys. Dave, Mike.
All right, thank you very much, Natalie. And speaking of pitchers, a defensive change here as Carl Bank has come into the mound. And Daniel Bean has actually had a pretty good day at the plate, so a little surprised to see that change. But Daniel Bean has pitched a lot of innings here today, Mike.
Third game. Well, he had the complete game in the first inning. He came out in relief in the second. This is, in effect, the 3rd game he's been pitching in one day. That's a lot. And just a little note on the mask, because, again, we see Blank also wearing that mask. These elite-level guys doing this is great, because then the lower-level leagues all across the nation will also look at doing it. It is optional, but if you wear that mask, you might save yourself an injury. And really what it's all about is we want everybody, certainly the ASA and everybody in softball, to be safe. We want to have fun, be competitive, but be safe. And 50 feet away, when these bats are this strong and the bats and the balls are like that, you definitely want to do the right thing. And these guys are leading the way by example.
Yeah, at any level, I think it's a wise decision. I covered a nice tournament while I was out in Hawaii. I covered the 12 and under girls junior Olympic qualifier tournament out there. That is standard in that league. That was part of an ASA league out there. And, you see it at the younger divisions. And I think when kids come up and they just get used to it and know that's part of the game, there's not going to be any problems when they grow into it and become older players.
And if the big guys are doing it, then there's no stigma. There's no, you don't have to prove to anybody that you're a tough guy by not wearing one. It just makes sense. And that's why I give Gino Buck, and I thank him for being so outspoken about it. It's not a big deal. You just wear it. It's real comfortable. And this is what I do. It's right for my family. That's the right message. And I hope everybody that plays this game, and there's so many of them all across the country, can look at it the same way and be safe.
Kevin Bazat leading things off there. You saw him with the triple here in the bottom half of the fourth. Bryson Baker still looking for his first hit of this game. And Baker sends that one out to left, but hits it right to where Alexis Ramirez was. The sacrifice fly does bring in a run, however.
Get a chance to see Wegman again.
Brian Wegman, already 2 home runs in this game, as well as a walk. Wegman has found his groove. Somebody might want to tell him this isn't the Long Haul Bombers Stadium Power Tour Championship round, because those 2 home runs certainly looked like that's what he was thinking.
We mentioned what a leader he is. It was just bound to happen. We always head on. We go focus on a key player before the game, and Wegman was our guy this time, even though he hadn't had a real powerful tournament. We knew it was coming, and certainly it came along with the great defense he'd been playing up until now.
Well, Wegman takes another walk, and we've seen Wegman walk more today than anybody else, and that's just because, in part, of the respect that the opposition has for him. They know they're not going to give him something easy to hit, or it's going to be gone.
That's right, and again, it's great to take the walk. Nobody wants to take a walk in slow pitch softball, but this is competitive, and that's as good as a single. And certainly you get runners, especially with nobody on. You want to get on base, because if you are going to get a home run, you want it to hurt.
Yeah, we mentioned that on last night's broadcast. I'm sure people watching at home can relate. You're in a big game, and there's a guy on your team that has a chance to take a walk, and he's going to swing because he doesn't want to get the walk. He wants to be the hero, or she wants to be the hero in the case of the ladies' game. But in this sport, at this level, you get a runner on base. You got to take that runner on base.
Well, and it especially means so much here because you get a guy up right after that could maybe bring you in with another run.
And Philby sends it out into right field. Off and running from first to third is Brian Wegman, so he moves himself just 75 feet away from scoring on the single by Philby, who is a home run away from the cycle. That might be more likely than the possibility of Griner getting a double.
That's right.
He's got a triple, a double, and a single. Also grounded out in a fielder's choice for Kevin Flip Philby.
And Kirby, who steps in now, is certainly has every potential to hit a 3-run shot right now, as we talked about earlier. Getting runners on bases and then making it hurt if you can get the guy to go long and go deep. Kirby, one of the better athletes, all-around athletes you can find in softball or really any other sport.
Kirby gets hit by the pitch, but in softball, that's just a ball. Scott Kirby, you did see him in the Stadium Power Tour Finals at the top of this broadcast. He was not in it for the individual portion of it. He missed being one of the top 6 batters, and only the top 6 get to be in that part of the competition by just a single point. But had a fantastic season on tour as he lines out to left field.
And helped his manufacturer go on to get prominence, and that's important too. Again, showing you're a team player. Disappointed, I'm sure, that you didn't have a chance to win the individual
especially with
crown.
the display he put on last night.
Yeah, but what did he do? He didn't hang his head. He didn't think it was a non-effort. He came out and put up a great effort. In fact, did a lot of things to help his manufacturer get noted and honored tonight in that event.
2 runs in already. Brett Helmer trying to add to that total. Is that one going to stay in the yard? It is on the warning track. That one is hauled in by Giel, and that'll end the inning here in St. Paul. Just 2 runs, and that's the least Hortenbach Auto has scored in an inning so far this game. In the bottom of the 4th, we'll go to the 5th after this. Due to time constraints, we move ahead in the action to the 5th inning. A steamy summer night here in St. Paul, Minnesota, Midway Stadium. The cotton candy is out, and the national championship for men's slow pitch in the Super National ASA is going to be handed out very shortly. And right now, Hortenbach Auto is in the driver's seat.
8 teams came to St. Paul. Of course, the semifinals and finals being played here at Midway Stadium. You know, this tournament has not taken place in a decade. So I'm looking forward to seeing it maybe continuing. But if you want to go back a little bit in history, you know, way back, and how about some of these names for those of you that follow softball? The Steel Silver Bullets, Riches Superior. These are teams, 12 teams have been crowned champions through the 22 years, and the Steels and Riches have each won 4 times. So whoever wins tonight can get into some pretty good category, pretty good company with some of the best all-time teams. And I hope they continue this, because there's a little bit of renegade in this tournament where you can get together with guys you haven't played with all year, come to St. Paul or wherever they have the championship and win it in a little bit of a different format than they are used to playing the rest of the year.
Well, and regardless of what happens here in this championship game, and by no means is Sonny's out of it, because we know that they're a team that never says die, although that might not help. A leadoff double is going to put Gino Buck in scoring position, and Sonny's obviously needs to mitigate the damage here when they're on the field defensively to try and climb back into this one. But regardless of what happens, you really got to tip your cap to Sonny's, because compared to the all-star lineup, and I'm not saying the guys on Sonny's aren't all-stars, because they're certainly fantastic softball players, but Hortenbach Auto really went out and assembled the creme de la creme of the available players to be here. The guys up and down the roster, as you talked about, are on Team USA. They've got championship experience. So for Sonny's to get to this point, it's been a fantastic tournament for them.
I mean, if you ask people who know the game in the quarterfinal, would Shop win with their lineup? And there's a lot of big names on that Shop team. Or would this team, Sonny's team, win? Most people would have put the check on the Shop side. Well, Sonny's came out and got a big victory.
Exactly, and Sonny's came back.
Carried it in, and they had to get 2 more big emotional victories just to play in this game tonight.
We saw them come back against Rip City. That was a fantastic win. And they're still in this one, folks, although they cannot allow 8 runs in this inning. Sam Lopez gets under that one. A high ball up in the wind. That could be trouble. Indeed it is. It drops in. A seeing eye single out there for Lopez, and that allows Gino Buck to come around and score. So another run on the board here for Hortenbach Auto, and their lead increases to 8. And the reason why I said they can't allow them to score 8 runs here, Mike, is because of the run rule. If they get up to 29 runs in this inning, that's it. That's game, because 15 runs or more after 5 innings, that's the ball game.
Going to have to play some defense and have to get a couple of these. They're going to have to stop these opportunities and make the plays when they have an opportunity here, because you're right. I mean, that lineup, there is no weakness at all in this Easton lineup. So they have to come up with some defensive plays and stop this now so they can get back up to bat.
Brian Rainwater, he walks on 3 pitches, and that will load the bases for Luis Reyna, who already has a home run to his credit here this evening. 2 for 3. Couple of runs scored in the RBI on the home run, the solo shot.
You could make an argument this guy may be the most valuable player in this game for this team. And when would you see a guy at 160 pounds in a slow pitch softball at this level getting in that consideration?
Reyna line shot. It is bobbled out there by Ramirez, and that's going to allow a run to come in and score. Reyna, that was a tough one for Ramirez to try and get from the onset. It looked like he had it, but it slipped out of his glove, and it results in another run here for Hortenbach.
There's a look at that swing by Reyna. He's just got everything going on. And again, Martinez just cannot pick it up just in front of the glove, and the breaks go the way of Hortenbach Auto Easton right now, and they cannot afford to let anything else fall through if they want to hang on and force another inning.
Well, still waiting on the word for the official scoring on that one. Could go either way. You could see the case for the single. It was an awfully tough play. but he did have a glove on it. And that one goes right up the middle. That's going to bring in a couple of runs. And so 2 more on the board as Bazat comes up with the big double. And how about the day at the plate here for Kevin Bazat in the championship game? He's 4 for 4.
And you got the guys, the two guys at the bottom of your order that could be in the consideration for your most valuable player. It tells you the strength of your lineup.
And now we're getting into danger territory, Mike, because the game-winning run is in the on-deck circle. So Sonny's really needs to bear down right now and slam the door if they're going to keep their dreams of a championship alive.
And I know Bryson Baker a little bit. He's not happy that he hasn't had a hit yet. He's going to take care of that right now.
Yeah, he took care of that in grand fashion. Go deep here. He put it over the go deep here. And that is a 3-run shot for Bryson Baker. And just like that, this thing is 2 runs away from being finished. Actually, 1 run away from being finished, 28-14.
Baker has been frustrated in this game. He's had a couple of walks, a couple of flies. He's flied out to left a couple times. None of these guys like to go home with an 0 for. You know, I've heard these guys 0 for 5, they call the pineapple or Hawaii 5-0, that kind of thing. Nobody wants to be in the O category, and I know Bryson Baker's probably as proud as anybody. Gets into that one and gone and clearing the left field fence.
That was Baker's 6th home run of the tournament, and this could be the tournament. Over the wall, say goodnight. That is all she wrote. Congratulations, Hortenbach Auto Easton, the 2013 ASA Supernational Men's Slow Pitch Champions, and it ends in fitting fashion with Brian Wegman hitting the decisive home run.
Brian Wegman certainly make a pitch here to be the MVP of the tournament, and who could argue with that? He's been a leader throughout this entire tournament, mostly defensively and as a leader. Now his bat came alive here, Dave, with a fantastic performance here in the championship game.
Wegman came into this game for the tournament batting .643 and had 3 home runs. All he did tonight was club another 3 home runs and going 3 for 3 with a couple of walks. He also scored 4 times. Brian Wegman closes it out. And how about the title for Hortenbach Auto Easton as they go undefeated through the tournament.
Congratulations to them. Also, congratulations to Sonny. One of the guttiest performances by a bunch of guys that weren't expected to be in this game. 3 games they played today, and I give them, certainly their due for coming out and scrapping all weekend long.
Yeah, Sonny's really opened a lot of eyes without a lot of big names on their roster. They battled to the very end, and as we talked about, you really have to wonder whether or not this being a 3rd consecutive game on the same day played a factor in them kind of not able to sustain the momentum towards the end of this one.
Well, the guys that were on paper expected to win it go on to win, but feel a scare along the way, and congratulations again to Hortenbach Auto Easton with a well-played and well-deserved championship, and let's hope that this ASA Super Nationals continues into the future.
Back in St. Paul, where we have a new national champion, Hortenbach Auto, in 5 innings, 29-14 over Sonny's. Let's get it back down to the field where Natalie Nice is standing by with the victors.
Right now, standing here with Craig Kress from the ASA, and you have the trophy here for your national champions, Hortenbach Auto Easton. 15-run rule came into effect here. What do you think about that?
It's a great game. It's a great team. This is our first time we've had this championship in 10 years, and these guys here have been loyal ASA people. We greatly appreciate them being here. Red Helmer with Easton and all his guys. It was a super event. 3 great days for ASA. Great weather here in Minnesota. Great host with the Saints, and we greatly appreciate being here. And I can only say congratulations to the champions and good luck to them and everything else that they do in 2013.
All right, Craig, go ahead and present the trophy to the team. Congrats.
All right, great to see. And Mike Woodley, you get the feeling that these guys are going to have more success on this field of softball as the season continues.
Yeah, these guys earned it. They're the best in the business, and they're earning the spoils of the championship. Congratulations.
And by the way, congratulations to one Brian Wegman. We can name him not only our game MVP, our long haul trucking game MVP, but the entire tournament MVP, and he does it in monster fashion with 3 big home runs in this championship game, a couple of walks, 4 runs, 5 ribbies. He ended the game with the decisive home run that got him to a 15-run spread and finishes the tournament batting .765 with 6 round trippers.
And 13 RBIs, 14 runs scored. Congratulations, Brian Regman, a great ambassador to the game and the MVP of the tournament.
You don't have to know a thing or the right words to sing, 'cause all you gotta do is stay here for a while and be you.
The white sands, warm waters, and unmistakable fun of Panama City Beach are waiting. So plan your trip to the real fun beach today at visitpanamacitybeach.com.
It's time to relax and get real.
The 2014 DeMarini Flipper Aftermath is your ticket to ride for high-level ASA play. Locked and loaded with DeMarini's new and improved divergence technology, the massive sweet spot on the Aftermath is extended horizontally around the barrel, making this the bat of choice for any serious ASA league and tournament players. Join players like DeMarini long-haul bombers Chris Larson, Donovan Pekraka, and Dale Brungaard and take total control of your game. DeMarini, insane dedication to performance. New this season, the Miken KF30 Kevin Philby Supermax 100% composite and Miken's HPI epoxy produces a game-changing level of performance. Check out Miken's Denny Crine DC41 Supermax hyperbolic barrel flex technology, delivering a 20% bigger sweet spot. Both bats are engineered utilizing 100% premium aerospace grade fiber to deliver Miken's legendary performance and durability. Miken, made in the USA.
I grew up on a farm in a small town upstate New York, and I got started in slow pitch. I was still in high school, believe it or not. I could hit a softball over 300 feet, so it was just kind of one of those things where I just had that natural power when I was 15 years old. I don't have to have the hottest performing bat. I have to be comfortable when I'm in the box. It is really about what's going to give you the best chance for success. We have something for everybody. Honestly, just come out and swing them. The response to our whole line for this year has been tremendous. They're legit, absolutely awesome.
ASA Softball, the national governing body of softball in the United States. Follow us at asasoftball.com or on Facebook or Twitter. It's time to get out and play ASA.
Long Haul Trucking, an industry leader in on-time delivery and safety. Long Haul is looking for quality drivers, ready for a high-paying, stable career. Long Haul, quite simply, has the coolest trucks on the road, featuring the revolutionary retractable tarping system. Every load is delivered on time and damage-free. If you're a dependable driver, ready to go the extra mile for our valued customer, log on now, longhaultrucking.com. Long Haul Trucking, running on the power of promises kept.
Brian Wegman, you are the MVP, the game-winning home run. How do you feel right now?
Real happy. Anytime we get rings for this, so anytime you win a ring with a bunch of guys that you like, it's a lot of fun.
How many rings do you have?
This makes 12.
This makes 12, but the 12th is just as sweet, right?
Yes, yeah, very much so. Everyone's good. It's a whole season. It comes down to this. So,
how about winning this on the 15-run rule?
Oh, that's good. That's it's big for us. I mean, obviously that our team doesn't like it too much, but it's good. It means a lot to us.
Walking up to the plate, did you know you were going to hit a home run? You're a long haul bomber. You're used to doing that.
Yeah, but it's a little different because long haul bombers, the pitcher's not trying to get us out.
That's a good point.
So here.
And what does that taste like?
That tastes terrible.
What is it?
Shaving cream.
All right, Dave, Mike, we're going to send it back up to you. Let Brian get cleaned up.
All right, thank you, Natalie. At least they could have had the good presence of mind to use whipped cream. It's much easier on the eyes and the face, but what a fantastic finish to what has been a fantastic tournament here in St. Paul, Minnesota. Once again, our final score in the championship game, Hortenbach Auto Easton wins it 29-14 over Sonny's. For Mike Woodley and our entire crew, I'm Dave Benz. Remember, for scores, highlights, features, and more, go to CBSSports.com. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. So long from St. Paul, and thanks for watching.